It was back in 1949, Mr. Dunlap, he asked me if I would come and sing on the radio broadcast. And the radio broadcast was called Wings of Prayer. It was a 30-minute broadcast that was live and broadcast on Sunday morning from 9 till 9:30. I would sing with the quartet. I sang baritone, sing some solos, and Mrs. Dunlap sang the alto voice, Mr. Dunlap sang the tenor, and Elsie Hall sang the soprano. And so that went on for quite a while. Then we had the opportunity by the radio station, which was WGH, still in existence, still going strong, to have that on tape. Then what they did, they changed it from Wings of Prayer to Good News, which was a 10-minute daily broadcast. And then they had Meditation for Sunday, which was a short Sunday broadcast. And then a little later on, they came in with a late night broadcast.
Mr. Dunlap's voice was very distinctive. And he would start, I can't remember which one it was that started, "Hello there," but people would come here and they would hear his voice and they would say, "I've heard that voice before." And really, he was an artist. He had the heart of an artist, the soul of an artist. Poetry just flowed beautifully out of his mouth. And he used a lot of poetry and a lot of hymns as poems in his broadcast, and also in his ministry, in his sermons, and in his prayers. Mr. Dunlap prayed in such a way that it was not only beautiful, but he made your heart feel what his heart was feeling. And when he did that on the radio, and people would come, like Brian said, they would say, I've heard about this ministry maybe through the radio, because I think at the end it always said presented by Tabernacle Church of Norfolk. So when they came to Norfolk, they would look it up in the phone book. Then they would come and they would hear his voice, and immediately they were ready to identify, because they had been prepared by God. That Mr. Dunlap's soul came out of his voice and out of his face. And if you didn't hear anything but the morning prayer, you felt you had been fed and nurtured and blessed. And so when people came, when they would come in from out of town, or when the Navy people would come, or when they would bring their families, if their parents would just be here visiting, and they would bring them to church, they'd feel like they were a part. Right then, the oneness of the organism would envelop them. And that was how God was using to bring the mission field to us. We became a giver all the time. And then Mr. Dunlap would share with the whole congregation the opportunity that would be to us. So at the same time that he was doing that, he was sharing his vision for Sunday school, so that people felt that it was a privilege to teach even the little children. I taught 4s and 5s. I've worked with 4s and 5s ever since 1949, because Mr. Dunlap was able to share with me the fact that if you sow the seed of the Word of God in a 4-year-old's life, when he becomes a sailor, he's going to have a foundation on which God will build.